Hey, sorry about this taking so long. My bad on doing that. But in that video clip that you're talking about, I think kind of what you're getting at, or I think kind of the most basic thing to take away from that, because there is kind of just some things that are maybe a little hard to like explain technically, but I think a really useful thing to take away from that is it's sort of like just this 5-stroke grouping with like kind of a like a double with the bass drum filling in. I mean, it's pretty common for drummers to do that. Like kind of, you know, I mean, common stuff is, and I guess it's almost kind of like a classic like double bass drum lick that you'll hear drummers do. Like they'll fill in. Like I guess the classic is like the, you know, like on the like 1-2 and then 1-2 on the bass drum, where like, you know, like usually a double bass drum. I guess that's like the how people classically do. But I mean, guys like Zach Hill, I think he kind of innovated playing this stuff, you know, without a double bass drum in a way that's like kind of different from how people usually do kind of like the doubles and triplets with the single bass. But, you know, I mean, like the classic would be like, you know, it's kind of a cheesy lick, but that's like a grouping of 4, but it's something that Zach Hill does a lot. Is he kind of takes that grouping of 4 and puts it in a 5, so you can kind of like one hand, like your right hand is playing 3 strokes and your left hand's playing 2, but I mean you're just playing singles, so it's like. And then like there's a fill in with the double and the bass drum, like. I mean, the trick, it's an easy thing to get, but the thing that you can, I guess, kind of fall into is you can just start playing like a grouping of 6 by accident. So it's sort of like, you know, like, because basically you kind of want to even that out, because like I guess there's like a tendency, I mean, it depends on how you practice, a tendency to want to sort of play evenly on the hands, because when you're restarting, like it's kind of awkward to go back to the hand that you just like left off on, like if that makes sense, like as in like because you're kind of like playing like a double stroke almost with your right hand, but not really. But you're kind of just, like, you're ending the grouping on your right hand, and then you're starting again on your right hand. But that lick that I'm doing on the toms in that video, I mean, that's basically what's going on there. I kind of trail off into kind of just some snare drum stuff that's a bit more complicated to explain, or a bit like, but, so, like, there's kind of like, and then I'm doing those crossovers, which, I mean, it's always good to just practice that stuff. I can do more into that later, but so what's going on in that one specific lick there where I'm just playing on the toms is I'm doing that 5-stroke, so it's like 5 strokes, 2 bass drums, 5 strokes, 2 bass drums, 5 strokes, 2 bass drums, but so it's like 3 groupings, and they're all the same sticking. But how they are throughout the toms, it changes each time in each of those 3. So it starts out like, I might mess up here, like I just kind of sat down, I'm not really warmed up or anything, and I suck, but, so what's going on in the first one there is, Like you see how my right hand's going. Well, my left hand's just going. Put those together. You know what I mean. So you have that, and then the second grouping, so you go, and then you're gonna do this, like, or yeah, so you can tell I'm prepared to do this. So you're going. So you got. So I'm trying to do the whole thing at once, but you see, so, you know, that's 5 strokes, and then left. Yeah, so, and then the last one, so you got, you know, I mean, the trick of all of this is stringing it together. It's just kind of like, it's just weird in my head, like working at it so slow all of a sudden, but, I mean, hopefully this is making kind of some sense, but, let me just try and play it. So, you got that. I can't exclude that third thing just because I've kind of programmed that in me. But the third thing is way more simple. So you got, and then the third one is just, so. Different things to kind of break it down, like you can, to kind of get, to be conscious of like that each hand is kind of doing a different thing, like it's not just like, that there's kind of an uneven pattern to it. But, I mean, the trick to that is both stringing them all together and then kind of getting all like the crossing over worked out. I mean, that just takes a lot of practice, a lot of time, but I think it's when you look at like Zach Hill playing, like he does some really cool like licks where he's crossing over his hands, and I just think practicing that stuff and being able to like pull it out, it just kind of gives you it just helps you out like so much working around the kit, especially because obviously like a signature element to a guy like Zach Hill's style is just how, well, I mean, there's just so many things that are great about his playing, but like how he utilizes his floor tom and how he just doesn't really feel like he's limited to any really part of the kit. Because I mean, I feel with my own playing over the years and a lot of other drummers, like they're really like stuck on the left hand side of the kit or kind of whatever's in front of them, like especially like floor toms and stuff like that, because you kind of have to, getting your hands over there and also crossing your hands over. Like people kind of say that they're like, it's like, oh, it's just showing off or whatever. But I mean, it's like, if you want to be playing like a pattern, you have to cross over your hands a lot. And it doesn't make sense why you limit yourself to that. So, I mean, something that I do to practice just for my hands to be able to do that, which is just very useful to practice in general, in terms of like coordination, is like I just do kind of like triplets, like as in, but I kind of do it applied to its drum. So like, let's say I'm going to do the triplet accents on the snare, and then I'm going to play the other strokes on the floor tom. So and then you can take it to really any drum, like, this is really cool too, like, and it's hard. And then what's really harder, at least for me, is like you're going to do the accents on the floor tom and then on the snare, where you're kind of crossing your left hand over. That's tricky. And same with the top. Give me an idea of one of those 5-stroke things I never really thought about, like I think it's all good stuff to practice. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what your skill level is at on the drums yet. So it's hard for me to like really figure out how deep to really delve into this. But I mean, I think that I can definitely give you some insight on a lot of this stuff with this style of playing. So yeah, just let me know.